Yo guys, a massive crypto investor dude from YouTube mentioned Kaspa about in the middle of his video or live stream. He mentioned Kaspa and he looks over Kaspa. This is shout out to Carlos Espinoza. He had mentioned it on YouTube. So here, it's at this 53. Kaspa. Yo, you heard that? You heard that? You heard that? Kaspa. Yeah. Big names are taking note of Kaspa. They're lurking and they're keeping their eyes on the next game-changing technology, the vanguard of crypto, literally the end game. Everything that crypto had wished and promised, it's being accomplished and it's coming to Kaspa. We'll say mid-2026, VPROG, Stagnite, it's going to be the next level. Everything is going to come into place. You're having these big names already. All right, so as I mentioned before, Murad. You see Income Sharks in support of Yonatan and Kaspa. You see this guy, Dan Gamba, I'll just call him Dan G. All right, this guy, massive crypto guy here on YouTube.
Go in our intelligence system because I know we just added Kaspa risk model.
Just added the Kaspa risk model, and here he goes. Basically, 15. super strong buy.
Asset theory is helpful on charts like this.
So basically referring to Kaspa as an emerging asset. That's what his risk model, it works best as for Kaspa right now. Because yeah, Kaspa is very much an emerging asset. It's like, that's why it's trading at such an extreme bear market. Yeah. Why is it performing so poorly? Well, you have to be really realistic and understand that it had an extremely profitable run since inception, like 100x. Maybe even a little more than 100x from its initial inception. I mean, from nothing to over like $4 or $5 billion market cap. That's a ridiculous run. So now traders, people that are basically traders, they're taking profit. It's just natural. That's what happens in every single asset. People take profit. So when people take profit, when it's known and it's not as hyped anymore, all right. So now that we're going through that bear market wave, in the bull market, it's going to become depressive. It's going to become sad. People are going to get angry, and then it's going to get boring. You want to buy when it's boring. All right, when it's boring, it's then going to the sell pressure is going to relieve itself, especially as there's less Kaspa out there to be mined. There's less selling pressure from the miners, and then you're going to be able to get that chart bounce, especially with the economic data for the federal government. For example, it's talking about all these different factors, these macro factors that can absolutely pump crypto, especially these risk-on assets and more so emerging tech. This isn't really high risk, but more so it's very volatile. It's very volatile because of how young it is. That's how young Kaspa is.
And it's helpful because like when you compare something like Kaspa to Cardano even, there's just way more data to like try and evaluate, okay, well, risk is here. What does that mean?
Yeah, basically that's a good thing about being able to compare to other charts, because Kaspa doesn't have that historical data. It missed that whole crazy bull run that happened in 2021 as well. So Kaspa had its own little bull run during the bear market, but having the historical context is very important. I agree.
With these cycles and like, is risk really looking good here? But for Kaspa, that emerging asset theory is helpful because we're able to put together, a general risk model, and you can see it's at a stinking 15 right now. And really, I genuinely think this, like altcoins like Kaspa, if we go back to the crypto chart, the business cycle does start expanding again. I don't know when it's going to happen, but if it's sooner than later or whenever, I think we're going to see charts like this. We're going to be like, dude, right at the precipice of QT ending, and right at the precipice of PMI expansion, more rate cuts, Clarity Act, peak fear happening, Kaspa was at a 15.
Exactly. It's going to be like, you would look back on it. It wouldn't be so obvious at that time. It's not so obvious right now. Kaspa trading at sub 4 cents, at like 3.8 cents or whatever it's at right now. It's not so obvious right now, perhaps for us, yeah, we're Caspians. We know it's obvious, but for other people, like it may not be so obvious. Oh, it's so down. Or for some people, like, oh, it's going to 1 cent. Like looking back on it, you're going to be like, oh, that was so obvious. But no, at 15, at this extreme low, max peak fear, this is the time, especially with all this different data. Like, he brings really good points about liquidity in the market, and all these different interesting factors that basically show that crypto has been performing exceedingly well in the past year. Like, for example, with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and largely propped up by ETFs, even though that the financial markets, they weren't getting so much extra liquidity. Like, so it was largely like, it was very impressive how well crypto had been doing and has been doing. So the fact that it has pumped so much already and now it's coming back down, it's very bullish, extremely bullish, especially in the macro time frame. And for something like Kaspa and these lower risk on assets, there's not a better opportunity to take advantage of this type of massive discounts.
Of the time after 3 months higher, and 100% of the time after 1 year higher.
And here he goes talking about this 15, what it refers to as a percentage that within 3 months, a 68% chance that the price is going to be higher than it currently is. I mean, that's pretty bullish. And now after 1 year, 100% of the time, it's been, when it reaches this level of its risk model, the risk chart he's developed or whatever, the model, 100% of the time when it reached a 15, the price increased after a year. So bullish. I mean, you're selling here, you're just not going to make it. You're selling here, the odds are against you. Especially short term, you're basically day trading with odds against you at this point in time. You should not be selling or even consider to be selling here.
And then what happens? If it's at a 15 right now, 4 cents, what does the upside look like? We enter a bull. What price is Kaspa going to be at 94 at risk? You know? Whew, that's crazy. You know what's funny?
He looking at this chart, look at the Kaspa chart. He's like, man, that's crazy. This pump. See, that's what this is not a fair chart. He's pulling it up from a different exchange that listed it kind of recently. So this kind of unfortunate. He's not seeing the full history of Kaspa, but it goes all the way back down to, I think he launched it like early or sometime in 2021. So back down in 2021 all the way to 2022, ridiculously cheap.
Reminds me of one of my favorite coins. Reminds me of Dog on Bitcoin. That chart.
Reminds him of a dog on Bitcoin. Basically the leading, or one of the leading meme coins on Bitcoin, ordinals or something like that.
I'm just curious. I want to open up the Kaspa weekly.
Look at that.
You won't
double bottom type of
formation. Data I'm presenting in this video and throughout recent videos, market starting.
Basically,
RSI on the weekly for Kaspa, you won't find me at the very least calling bear market starting.
Yeah. I mean, basically what he's saying, he's not going to be calling the bear market starting once it's all the way already down here. It's kind of like, it's a solid place. It's a macro bullish. I mean, not like super bullish, but it's like, it's not a place where you should be selling, is essentially what he's saying.
He's, I think, on X, and they're just like, oh, it is what it is, dude. I'm here. Like, I'm here for it. I'm in this space. I'm building here. I'm invested here on the long term. I'm sticking through. And that's generally like my approach right now, especially because,
yeah, I mean, solid approach. I mean, definitely some cool insights from this guy. Really, big kudos to actually mentioning Kaspa. I think he was like looking through comments and someone mentioned Kaspa, so here he is doing a little rundown on Kaspa. Gotta love it. Definitely gonna give some more thoughts on price action, especially right now. But when the price is down so much, it's not like, I don't suggest you to be staring at charts. Just if you buy your bag, good, you're solid. Buy it, send it to cold storage, and HODL, or forget about it. Price action short term doesn't matter unless you have some available capital to buy the dip. If you've already bought the dip, then fantastic. All right, you don't have to focus so much on it. But do you have some money to buy it? Then go ahead. All right, but the Kaspa we should be focusing more so on is the upcoming tech that's coming. Focus so much more on like what Jonathan's tweeting about. That is some interesting stuff. I mean, a lot of it goes over your head, but I mean, if you're interested in building something like Zcash on Kaspa, well, then you should be going and talking with some fellow developers, because Jonathan's waiting for that KIP. KIP stands for Kaspa. What does KIP stand for? Kaspa something protocol. A KIP is basically like an update that can be added to the Kaspa code base. So yeah, I mean, if you're a developer, there's no better time to be building on Kaspa, especially during this crazy, basically bear market price action. All right, guys, if you haven't yet, this is the time. All right, it's pretty clear now. They have it updated all here now for Black Friday Tangem. You get 30% off with a $10 Bitcoin reward. You can't, there's literally not a better deal. There's a whole year for getting a Tangem. And this is Kaspa edition. Literally, there's not another crypto featured here besides Bitcoin and Kaspa. So take the hint. Tangem is very much interested in Kaspa. Who is very much interested in Tangem? Visa. So you got to really take the hint and understand that the level of adoption for Kaspa is literally at the doorstep. When we get stablecoins, when we get VPROC, Stagnite, all of that is going to unlock so much like you can't even imagine in terms of transaction volume. So Tangem Pay, it's running on-chain, basically on-chain Visa debit card using stablecoins. Imagine, so the next step of currently it's running on Polygon. Next step is running on Kaspa. On-chain stablecoins on Kaspa with Visa. This is the end game we're talking about in terms of adoption and transaction volume. Everything that will push Kaspa to the top 10. Not even top 10. We're talking about, this is top 5 to top 3 easily in the next, whatever, in the next 5 years, 10 years, without any doubt. This is the route. This is the road that can absolutely take Kaspa there. Powered with Tangem and Visa, this type of combination. I mean, and then there's so much. I mean, Kaspa Kai, I mean, that's just a whole other level, a whole different angle for implementing and developing on Kaspa. So get yourself a Tangem. All right, you get promo code SCAPE, promo code BF2025 gets you the $10 in Bitcoin for free. You're going to get an email confirmation after you fulfill your order. Yeah, here's the flow of receiving the $10 reward. You're going to wait 14 days. Yeah, so 2 weeks to make sure that it's not canceled or returned. And then the system will pay out the $10 gift as a Bitcoin reward, basically after activating your wallet, and you get a QR code and all that stuff. So it's legit. It's there. Get it while you can. It's what's the deal? I think that lasts until December 8th, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, here it says it ends November 28th. You basically have a week. So get it while it's hot, and you get even a family pack, and you get a $20 Bitcoin. Dang, man, this is some good deals. You could run a node from your home. It's super easy, literally 3 steps. I wish I did my video and just show how fast it actually is doing it from scratch. So I put timestamps in my video. You can look it up on my channel, doing it for free. You don't even need to use a Flux node. You don't have to pay for it. Just do it for free on your home PC, or even buy a PC, a used one on eBay. A whole setup costs $100. So that's the move. We've got to stay decentralized. We've got to increase our numbers. Let's get to 1,000. Let's get to it fast. Come on, guys. All right, fam, that's what's up. So don't be selling the fear. Buy that fear, hodl the fear, and feel good about it, because Kaspa is the next. Kaspa is literally like the Apple of crypto. Gonna be honest, pretty much chilling. But as the Apple of crypto, you already know what to do. Buy to hold, and hold as long as you can, essentially. All right, peace out, guys.